away from you. I just want to share our son. Is that too much to ask?
Share my son with Dixie Cooney over my dead body. I think it's time for a break.
Dixie, it's about Jamie and me.
Ms. Cooney's name wouldn't even appear
she
in the
never
agreement.
Get her hands on my son. Can I speak on your behalf? My mind is made up.
I know, and you have made yourself absolutely clear. Why don't you just take a walk? Why don't you get a cup of coffee? Let me finish these
No,
discussions.
there's nothing to talk about. Joint custody is out.
Well, one thing's for sure. It's going to be no good for Jamie if you and I are at each other's throats. You want sole custody? You got it.
Wait, maybe if I explain the meaning of...
It's not worth it. She's made up her mind. Let's just move on. Believe me, it's not worth it. Let's not turn this thing into World War III.
Sole custody. No child support. That brings us to visitation policies. Now, in light of what has just transpired, you would have to agree that my client is entitled to liberal visitation.
Your client is not entitled.
Why don't we just hear them out?
Kidding. Come on, I'm not trying to edge you out. If you want to work it around your schedule, fine. Fine, I'm amenable to that. We'll work it around your schedule. Hell, you can have first choice of all of Jamie's holidays. You can have all of them. I just want to spend some time with my son. Come on, Brooke, I made a lot of plans with Jamie, and I want to follow through on all of them. Like the Grand Canyon and theme parks, Little League when it's time. Hell, I promised to teach him how to swim this summer and take him on a camping trip. Now, look, the truth of it is I'm going to need a lot of weekends, or maybe just a chunk of the summer and a weeknight every now and then.
Sorry.
Sorry, what is that supposed to mean? What's your problem now?
You're the one who has the problem because you're planning a lot of things that are not going to happen.
Would you care to describe the nature of your objection?
What's impossible?
All future father and son outings. Jamie and I are moving far away from here, so there will be no visitation. None at all. Leaving my job.
Oh, come on, Brooke, you love tempo.
Well, I have left a lot of things that I love.
So what are you going to do? You're going to turn your life upside down just to prove a point to me?
Time. I don't have to work at all. And I've decided I'm going to devote the next period of my life to mothering, so you don't have to worry about Jamie being well taken care of, because except for freelance work, I will be with him full time. And he will be in a beautiful, child-friendly setting.
Sure, Neverland.
Hawaii.
I think it's fairly obvious to everybody at this table that you are on overload, so I don't think it's a very good idea for anybody to be making any life-altering decisions at this point.
Not to mention which we can legally stop
No,
you.
I'm very clear on what I want and what I think is best for my son.
Well, you can't make that call on your own.
Well, I can, and I have.
Oh, come on, Brooke, what do you expect me to do? Just sit here while you take my son away from me?
I honestly think that you don't have any say in this.
You are wrong.
You made your choice,
You are wrong. You want to fight?
You'd rather be Dixie's lover than Jamie's father.
I am Jamie's father, no matter what happens between the two of us.
Listen to me. You made your bed, now you lie in it. You want to go to theme parks, you take Dixie's son. You haven't been around in Jamie's life enough to make any difference whatsoever. You want to know something? His babysitter has spent more time with him than you have. If anybody is going to miss anybody, he's going to miss Petra.
You can't do this. She cannot do this.
Camping. Is that what you were talking to me about? You want to take him camping? Why didn't you take him camping last fall? He would have loved it. You couldn't slot in the time, could you? Because you were taking too much time deciding whether to trash your family or not. Well, you made the decision, and now you know what? I'm making a decision. I am taking my son, and he's never, ever going to have to depend on you for the rest of his life.
You better make it again, because you can't possibly think for 1 second you're going to get away with it. So what the hell is going on here? Why are you doing it?
Well,
for the rest of your life.
I'm going to forget that you
I've given you
will.
a lot of a reason to hurt me, but please don't hurt Jamie. Don't hurt
You
her.
are the one.
Don't you remember what happened when I came back? Don't you remember what you said? All of a sudden, out of the blue, Jamie's got a father. Those were your exact words. You said it was like a miracle.
Well, I was wrong.
Jamie's the most precious thing in the world.
Oh, don't give me that. If Dixie hadn't been otherwise engaged, you would never have looked twice at your son.
I've loved him since the first moment I laid eyes on him.
Dixie is the only one you love. Your family was second choice, and you threw your son away. And he's too little to understand that. And I'm going to make damn sure that he is not around to ever find out.
If only I hadn't lost you. Laura. It's so cold. All I can think of is reminding you to keep your mittens on.
No.
How could I do that? How could I lie about this child inside? I never lied about you. Isn't this child as precious as you? Doesn't this baby mean as much as you and Jamie? I mean, if this baby's as much a part of me as you two, how could I lie to its father like that? I mean, how could I want to move so far away from my friends and my family and... How could I do what I did to Edmund? He doesn't deserve it. And I don't know how I can live with myself these lies. I just can't stop. I can't stop. And he's right. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I've become. I hate what I've done. If there'd been some other way, if there'd been some other choice. You're probably not very proud of your mommy right now. And I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, honey. But your mommy can't lose another child. I can't go through that twice in one lifetime. I just can't. And that's why I had to do it. That's why. I mean, if I could just understand why.
I can't tell you.
Losing one child wasn't enough. Explain it to me.
I wish I could.
When I lost Laura, I almost died. I wanted to die. It was the most horrible day of my life. And it never got easier. I still hurt. I still, if I read about someone who's been run down by a drunk driver, I still relive it. There's not a day that goes by that I don't ache to see her, that I don't imagine what she'd be like if she were still here. How she'd wear her hair. Or what kind of clothes she'd like, you know. She wanted a puppy. We never got it for her. You would have loved her.
I know.
And I miss her. And now it's not fair. It's not fair.
wish I had a reason. I wish I had some way to explain this to you and tell you why. I mean, why do some people suffer and other people just glide through life?
I'm sorry. You go ahead with what it is you want to say. Whatever it is, I'm sure that I deserve it. I'm so sorry.
No. I'm sorry, too.
You've done nothing to be sorry for. I have. If anybody's to blame for this, it's me.
That's not fair.
Seems to me that nothing about any of this is fair. Anyway, you got more important things to think about than that, you know, like getting the hell out of here, going home, seeing Jamie, your friends. I better warn you, though, Phoebe can't wait to get her hands on you. She's been busy helping Jamie make you a Valentine. Just do me a favor, you know, don't tell him that I spoiled the surprise. It's beautiful. It's all red construction paper and sparkles. It's enormous, you know. It's gonna look great on the front of the refrigerator. Stone guaranteed to put a smile on your face. Listen, I know that right now you probably don't think that you've got a lot to be happy for, but you will. It's gonna get better, Brooke, I swear.
I made so many mistakes.
Made a lot myself. You don't have to think about that now. That's over. That's ancient history.
I lied to you. You know, I lied to you. I tricked you about this baby.
I know.
I just wanted her so much. I mean, even after I found out about you and Dixie,
I wanted it too.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Even though our lives are so messed up. I mean, the way things were would have made things much more difficult, especially for you and for Dixie.
Seems to me kids make things difficult in the best of circumstances. You know how much I love Jamie. Another baby wouldn't have been any different. Besides, I would have gotten a chance to be there from the beginning this time, you know, first step, first word, all that. I would have been there from the first second of her life.
Her?
Yeah, I wanted a little girl, too.
So did I.
I wanted to name her Jenny, you know, after my sister. Yeah, maybe the middle name, something. Wanted to take her into work, show her off. Was already getting geared up for the first school play, prom, even graduation. Wanted to stand in the driveway and give her a hard time when she came home too late after a date. Guess this is the first time I ever... First time I ever got to look forward to being a father. I'm sorry. Silly, you know, I guess I just kind of got carried away with
No,
mapping out her life.
I did too. And I guess I thought that I was the only one who was grieving. But I'm not.
No. You're not. Make me.
I think the only thing that lying around in a hospital bed is good for is soul searching. My soul's not a very pretty place.
It's funny, it's always looked pretty good to me. And you always were your worst critic, so.
This time I deserve it.
You don't. No, you don't. Brooke, you did what you did for your son. You love Jamie. You're a wonderful mother. You'd lay down your life to protect him. You got scared and that took over.
Dad, I didn't care who I hurt or how much.
Well, I think it's fair to say that the hurting started on my side, and we both know it.
It doesn't justify it. I mean, if you hadn't found me, if I'd kept Jamie away from you, it would have been unforgivable.
You thought I was trying to do the same thing. You fought back.
I was using Jamie.
So? He's none the worse for wear. Hell, he's the only one who had fun throughout this entire thing. You were angry with me. You had just cause.
It's not an excuse.
Look, I'll accept your apology if you do me a favor and accept mine. Then we can both move on.
Don't let me off so easy, because I can't. Because I think about the plans that we both had for this baby, and then I wonder, why did we lose her? And the only thing that I can come up with is that I'm being punished, that I don't deserve another child because of all the mistakes that I've made.
Look at me. Look at me. You didn't cause this. And it's not your fault. That happens. Questions of child custody are never simple or easy. What happened with your pregnancy was beyond your control. It wasn't some divine kind of punishment. The last thing you can afford to do right now is to blame yourself.
Thank you for saying that.
Tell you what, stop trying to assign blame. Just find a way to pick up and move on.
How?
Well, for one thing, I can't stand the idea of being your enemy. A long time ago, you and I were such good friends. I don't think I could take having to talk to you through some string of attorneys.
I don't see how we could go back, you know, to where we were.
I know. But that doesn't change the fact that sometimes I just miss the sound of your voice. Please, there's got to be some kind of middle ground. Can't we at least try to find it?
Have you You've discussed this with Dixie, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. She's worried about you, too. Honestly. She understands what you're going through. And she knows full well that I want to be part of your life.
It's made you love her even more, hasn't it?
I can't help it. I'm sorry if that hurts too much.
I forgot what it's like to love somebody so much that you don't think that you can love them anymore, and then somehow you do. It's overwhelming. And we never had that.
I did love you. I really did.
I loved you too. But I was never Dixie.
I was never Edmund.
We have a child. And that's a lot.
Good place to start.
Are you still gonna sue for full custody? I mean, is there anything I can say, you know, that'll make you think about some way, some plan that we can have, that we can, you know, share our time with her?
You've been saying it ever since I walked through the door. First day back.
You won't sue for full...
Not a chance.
But you were so determined.
Guess I was scared. Guess we both were. Maybe we both loved Jamie a little too much.
It's impossible. Thank you. He was the only person that I could go to for comfort. It was like his voice was the only one I could listen to when I was in trouble.
I know that.
And if I hadn't listened to him at the end, I would have died. What I'm leading up to, Maria, is that if Edmund had wanted me back then, I mean, if he had wanted another chance with me, I would have found it very hard to say no to him, even impossible, but he never did. He never did. The only thing that he offered me was friendship. Look, I really, if I made another mistake coming here tonight, I'm sorry. It's just that I wanted you to know, when you and Edmund exchange vows tomorrow, it's very clear that there is no doubt in his mind or in my mind that he loves you. Only you. More than anybody else in the world. I'll go.
No, wait.